With that name, you go Scuba.
Splash! Bubble, bubble! These were the first sounds that I heard when I made my first scuba diving entry into an indoor pool while I was taking scuba diving lessons in Indiana. For those that do not know, scuba stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. It allows yourself to breathe underwater, and then you can explore the underwater world. It was a new and exhilarating experience to breathe while underwater, to be like a fish, cruising and exploring the unknown. I felt a certain tranquility being underwater, floating and listening to silence, away from all the sounds and stresses of living above water. Tonight I want to describe a couple of the best diving locations that I have experienced, and also one location where I wish to experience. Not too long after taking those lessons, I began taking twice-a-year trips to Key Largo, Florida, where I dove John Pennekamp State Park. It's an underwater sanctuary for divers, and it includes a very, very large area just south of Key Largo. After moving to Florida, I explored other diving locations throughout the Caribbean, including Aruba, Tortola, Key West. However, two of my favorite are Cozumel and Grand Cayman. In Cozumel, there is Paradise Reef. This is a series of actually 3 separate reefs running parallel to the shore, approximately 200 yards from the beach. It's the only reef accessible by beach divers. No need to charter a boat in order to go diving. The maximum depth is about 45 feet. All 3 sections have abundant marine life of every size, color, and descriptions. Divers can see crab, lobster, and a plethora of multicolored tropical fish. Dive guide speed, spotted moray eels. Looking closely under ledges and in holes, one can spy the reclusive splendid toadfish. This is a fish that is only found in the Cozumel area. Now, wall diving in Cozumel is exquisite, a microcosm of virtually every life form, densely packed onto its face or swimming nearby. For those that don't know the terminology of diving the wall, if you can imagine walking out into the Gulf of Mexico, it's very shallow and it slowly gets deeper. Well, the wall is where it plunges straight down, and that's where divers like to dive, is along that wall. The walls start out fairly shallow in water, 35 to 40 feet in the Cozumel area, giving the diver the advantage of not having to go too deep to see a lot. However, with so much to see, it's impossible to see it all. For example, if you could limit observation to just sponges alone, there are over 30 varieties that can be found in the Cozumel area. Their color and form are a kaleidoscope, ranging from tiny white sponges to bright yellow and orange. Blue-green vase-shaped sponges nestle next to pink vase sponges, with green finger sponges nearby. With so much to see and comprehend, diving this spot often is really the only way to see everything that it has to offer. However, my best dive spot that I experienced is Grand Cayman. Most of the diving occurs a couple of miles offshore along what's called 7 Mile Beach, which is facing west. And it's also a great spot to watch radiant red-orange sunsets at night. It's a prime location for night diving due to its sheltered site, relatively shallow 50-foot depth. Experienced divers enjoy a blasted-apart shipwreck called the Balboa. Octopi slither about, seeking solitude, and hidden in a variety of small nooks and crannies are the reclusive lobsters. Grand Cayman's north wall is a quintessence of the island's diving opportunity. With the bottom never in sight, there are many fishes that cruise along the edge of the wall. For sheer exhilaration, there's a dive spot called Tarbuck. Narrow canyons cut through the reefs, four-wall leading to a deep sand flats. Maybe 200 of these 20-pound silver bullets patrol their meeting place. Going deeper into the sand flats, divers find themselves surrounded by a swarm of barracuda. Stingrays lie at rest nestled in the sand, all waiting for the incoming tide to provide their dinner of bait fish and crustaceans. However, there's one area that I had not dove that I really look forward to doing someday, and that's the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. It is vast, encompassing an area of 100,000 square miles off the northwestern coast of the island continent. The Great Barrier Reef is great. It is the largest coral reef complex in the world. It is a barrier, a few deep water passages in a length comparable to the U.S. shoreline from New York to Miami. It's not a single reef, rather it's a galaxy of separate reefs, maybe 2,500 in all. Some are small, house-sized bommies, which is an Australian word for submerged rock. Others are huge formations up to 20 square miles. Of all the coral reef communities in the world, none contain as many species of life. Divers are bewildered and bedazzled by the array of algae, corals, fishes, crabs, starfish, mollusks, and other animal groups. A small reef area on the southern end has been studied intensely for over 30 years. The catalog of species is mind-boggling. 931 species of fish, 107 corals, 27 species of starfish, only to name a few, and they're not even finished cataloging all the animal and plant life that they have found in that area. So if you have any interest in exploring the underwater world, I encourage you to not delay in taking scuba diving lessons. Many of the local dive shops in the area offer lessons, including Bill Jackson's and Tackle Shack. Give them a call and take the plunge.